Datsun Go was facelifted late in 2018, and what they did with the facelift was they made the face a little bit bolder, the grille. They brought in daytime running lights over here and a few other minor changes. They did upgrade it, update it a little bit, which was nice little changes. This is the Luxe version. You do get a mid version as well, both powered by the same 1.2 litre 3-cylinder engine that puts out 50 kilowatts and 104 newton meters of torque. So not massive figures, but it's a little city car, so really not a problem at all. You come round, of course, on the Luxe version you do get very neat looking 15-inch mag wheels over here, which certainly look the part. And you come round, you get the roof racks up top, and pretty much a pretty fancy looking spoiler up above the rear window here as well. Another feature you do get on the Luxe version, of course, is even rear park distance control beepers. So there's another feature you do get. You come round to, I'd say, a fairly adequate sized boot. Nothing wrong with the boot at all. And you do have a full-size spare wheel under the carpet in the boot. You'll notice over here your rear seats are not split, but they can fold down for extra luggage space if that is desired. You also do not get a shelf in the back. But remembering and never forgetting that the Go is certainly marketed as a budget option. Let's take a look inside, because there's a lot to see there as well. Taking into account that obviously because of its city car roots, the Go has a very small fuel tank, I think it's quite impressive. We've done 225 kilometers so far, still reading above half on the fuel gauge. Unfortunately, that's as accurate as I can give you on fuel consumption figures. But you take a look, the controls are very neat. You've got on the driver's door, you've got your electric windows all around, and very interesting, I think, for a car in this range, one touch down, and of course you have to just not one touch back up, but locking on the doors as well over there. You come across to very plain, very basic instrumentation, but tells you what you need, and of course, most importantly, to the target market for the Go, and I'm going to stress that fact a number of times, is the Go's target market. You do get, of course, your touch screen system over here, which offers you quite a lot of features. You can link to Apple Carplay, Android Auto, as you see right here, phone, Bluetooth, USB, all of those items you want. The one thing I possibly did miss a little bit was that it doesn't have standard navigation, but that's me, so let's not worry too much over there. You do have standard air conditioning as well on this car, so it's got a lot of features. And then something that is on the Go, a feature of the Go's, and it was a feature of the previous model as well, which had, of course, that almost bench seat in front. You'll notice now with the facelift there are very much two separate seats in front, as is the norm these days. So that has changed, but the gear lever is in a much higher position than the standard, shall we call it. Very smooth, very slick little gear shift. Don't rush it, but it certainly works nicely and is nice in operation. So again, a fair feature and a decent feature on the car. On the move, it's smooth, it's pleasant, and one thing that has really surprised me on this test is the fact that it may only have 50 kilowatts, but it's actually very, very peppy, and certainly almost belies the power output of 50 kilowatts, 104 newton meters. You'll see we're going now up a little bit of a hill. You may need to use the gearbox a little bit when you are on a hill, but it's no hardship, and it certainly doesn't struggle uphill, as you can feel this right now. I think this is pretty good for a little engine like this, and it certainly feels pretty good. The thing about the Go as well is it is slightly larger than some of the other cars it competes with on price in particular. And you certainly, if we just take a look towards the back seat right now, you'll see there is certainly a little bit more room than in some of its competitors, and it's a little bit more spacious than certain of its competitors. But now I'm going to get to the elephant in the room, and I'm going to discuss the major elephant in the room regarding the Datsun Go and the previous version, which of course was safety. Well, Datsun listened to the consumers and listened to the market, and kudos to them for that. because now both versions, the Mid and the Lux, come standard with drivers and passenger airbags and standard with ABS brakes. So well done on both those points. But there's still a little elephant. Maybe a smaller elephant than the one that was around on the last version, shall we call it, the pre-facelift, is, to the best of my knowledge, and I use those words very carefully, they have not altered the structure of the vehicle yet. So we still are dealing with the same structure that we dealt with on the previous version. I'm not saying or making judgment on it, I'm just saying be aware. And be very aware of it when you're looking in the market. This version, the Lux, retails at $165,500 with all the features I've mentioned, and there are lots of features, so it is important to know. But I've been thinking about it while driving this car for a few days, and I've come to a conclusion. If it was me, and if I was the buyer, the Mid version, which is mechanically identical, has the same safety spec as well as I've mentioned to you a few moments ago, comes in at $144,500. It's 21,000 Rand cheaper, number one, which is 400 to 500 Rand a month cheaper on payments over 6 years. Yet it gives you the same car, the same body, the same mechanicals, maybe minus a few toys. I think if I was buying at this end of the market, I would very, very seriously consider that version over the Lux. But that's me, that's your choice. You can also add on optional service and maintenance plans, but they're not included in the purchase price. So the Datsun Go, certainly improved, certainly upgraded and updated on the facelift version. Check it out for yourself if you're buying in this end of the market. For Motor Matters, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you.